that new intro. Hey guys, so before we get into this video, I just wanted to say, hey, welcome to 2021 and welcome to a rebranded Trolley Dolly. I wanted to do something new because I am in a new decade of an era for my age. Rest in peace to my 20s, but I'm loving my 30s so far. However, I just wanted to hop on here really quick and explain this video before we get into it. I had originally filmed this video for vlogmas, but it just didn't feel appropriate to fit into my aesthetic of the vlogmas and how the days were going along, and I just didn't like how it fit in here. So this video was highly requested on Instagram. I asked you guys for a poll what you wanted to see, and this video won like 100% of the votes. Pretty much wanted to see how I started my flight attendant journey, how I became a flight attendant, yada yada yada. So I filmed this specifically for vlogmas, but like I said, I just didn't like how it fit in there. I promised this video months ago from Instagram, and so here she is. I also wanted to come on here and like explain why I'm not really talking about current events in this video, and that's why. If you've been living under a rock, you obviously don't know what's going on in 2021. I want to have my subscription service turned off for 2021. I'm not here for it. I'm not loving it. I'm not enjoying it so far. Actually, no, I take that back. I am. The week has been good except for Wednesday. Wednesday the 6th was a disgrace. It's like when we were watching Tiger King in March. That's how the world is watching us now. It's disgusting. It's reckless. The people that were involved on the January 6th attack is what I would like to call it, need to be penalized, need to be... there's just so much. But you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, how I feel about the situation and how I feel about everything politically and everything like that. So I'm not going to get into that too much, but I did just want to come on here really quick and explain that, and that I'm 30 and that this video was filmed weeks ago. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll be going back to flight attendant vlogs soon. I've just been off and I haven't been flying, so that's why I wanted to give you guys this one, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Bye! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay and I am a flight attendant for a US airline, and this is my story of how I became a flight attendant. I asked you guys on Instagram if you would like to know the story of how it began, where I started, what happened, the whole process, and my entire story that led me to where I am right now. You guys came in hot on the Instagram poll. I think it's like 98 to 2 right now. 98 to 2 right there. So I just posted this like 20 minutes ago and 92 of you said yes, I want to know, and 2 of you were like, no, I'm good bro, like we can do without. This is a different video than I've ever really done before. I don't really do these types of videos. I suck at sit down videos, but we are going to get through it together. If you are not following me on Instagram, you probably should, because that's where I do a lot of polls. I interact with a lot of you guys. I message a ton of you guys, like full-on conversations. I have conversations with about like 20 of you, like close conversations that I feel like I'm friends with you. Like I love interacting with you guys on Instagram. So if you're not following me, you should definitely do so, because that's where like I said, I post a lot of polls, a lot of questions. I do a lot of lives on there and everything. Trolley Dolly. Shameless self promo. But we got the mirror, we got the makeup. We're just doing a simple get ready with me today. I actually have dinner plans in a few, so I thought why not just pull the camera out and do it now while I'm getting kind of ready. I'm not a beauty guru by any means, so don't come at me. Let's get into the story. So I was just a young little nugget when I became a flight attendant, and I had no idea what I was in for. Like I literally had no idea. I wouldn't change anything about it. So my experience was a little bit different than a lot of people's, because I actually went to a flight attendant school. Would not recommend, because now that was in 2012. I was 21. I will have been a flight attendant for 9 years in January. So do the math on how old I'm gonna be in January. I'm an elder. Yeah, so I've been a flight attendant for a long time. I've worked for 2 airlines, and this is my story. When I first started, like I said, I went to a school. I had gone to community college because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to have like a desk job or anything because first of all, I can't concentrate. I'm very ADHD when it comes to a lot of stuff. So yeah, school is not my strong suit whatsoever. I actually hated school. So I just have my associate's degree in liberal arts, like literally the most basic thing anyone could possibly get a associate's degree in. And I wasn't in school, I was just sitting on the couch. I worked as a lifeguard, I worked at Charming Charlie, and I did swimming lessons, and what else was I doing? I think that was it at that time. But I loved those jobs. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a lifeguard for the rest of my life. Like this is it. I don't want to do anything else. And my mom was like, you gotta do something. Like you gotta get out of here. You can't live in Omaha for the rest of your life. You need to explore, you need to have culture. Not like I didn't, you know, travel as a young chap. My dad had a job that led him out of the house from Monday through Friday in a different state. And I was used to him only being home on the weekends and him gone all the time, just kind of normal. I was leading down a path of just sitting on the couch, not doing anything. And my mom was like, you seriously need to get out. You need to do something with your life and we're gonna figure that out. So I said, you know what, maybe I should become a flight attendant. Just because I love to travel, I wanna see the world and do all that basic ass bitch things, you know, that one does when they want to become a flight attendant. Because anytime you ask somebody, well, why do you want to be a flight attendant? That's what they say. I want to travel, I want to see the world, you know, my personality fits it very well. My mom and I started researching. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't know where to begin, anything. So I found this school in Minnesota and it was like a legit college. Like it was an 8-week course and they had boarding and everything, and it was literally a school. It was like college, and I didn't think I would like that. So that led into one rabbit hole into another rabbit hole, and then I found this school called the Flight Attendant Express. It is no longer in existence. It is called something else now. I'm not really sure what it is called, but the girl that ran it, she was a flight attendant for JetBlue, and she had 3 other teachers that were also JetBlue flight attendants. And we emailed her and she said that she had an opening in like the April, I think, or March or April class, and it was actually in Orlando. So it's kind of funny that I live in Orlando now and my whole flight attendant journey started in Orlando, so kind of full circle. But anyway, I need to do my eyebrows because this is the toughest part for my makeup skills. So I'm gonna pause this video and come right back. We have brows. They're definitely cousins today. They're not sisters. I went to a flight attendant school. It was called Flight Attendant Express. And so I came down to Orlando, stayed with my aunt, and then I went to this school. This school was for about a week, and it taught us more than just flight attendant stuff. It taught us etiquette, how to like write a resume. It taught us what crash pads were. They actually took us to the JetBlue Academy and we got to go down the slide, and we actually got to go into the cabin of a simulated airplane, and we got to see like smoke in the cabin, and we watched the flight attendants that were like the trainers or whatever, like how to do an evacuation, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. So I really learned a lot from that, and even though it was just a week, I totally learned more than I would have if I probably went to that school in Minnesota for 8 weeks. And I know that a lot of people that actually have gone there and they say that it's just not worth it, and I'm pretty sure that like what I've learned, or what I learned in the amount of time of a week, is probably just as much, if not more, than I probably would have if I went to that school for 8 weeks. But back then there were no YouTube videos, there were no flight attendant vloggers. I think when I like looked up like flight attendant interview, this one girl from like Virgin Atlantic came up, and it was totally like not a thing that I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a flight attendant overseas. I wanted to stay home because I was just a 21-year-old little nugget still living at home. Like I had no idea what was going on in life. Like I was so confused. So I went to this school and it was awesome, and a couple airlines came in and they did like mock interviews. Compass came in and they interviewed us, and I got a call back like a day later, and they were like, hey, when you're done with the flight attendant school, we want you to come up to Minnesota and we want you to interview with us. And I was like, Compass, what's that? I have no idea who they are. Like, so I researched them and I found out they were a Delta connection. So smaller airplanes. We flew the Embraer 175s, and there was another airline that just did charters. I can't remember exactly what the airline was, but I think it was like Miami Air, or I can't remember, but they did like overseas stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm not ready for that. I'm not, sorry. So I went with Compass, and they called me and they were like, hey, we want you to come up to Minneapolis for an interview and we'll go from there. So I went in and I did a one-on-one interview because I basically skipped the whole group interview process because I had my already interview at the Flight Attendant Express. So I just did my one-on-one interview with the in-flight manager, and then there were a couple flight attendants there as well. And they went out. The interview was pretty short from what I remember, maybe like 20 minutes, if that, maybe 15. And they went out in the hallway and they came back and they were like, congratulations, you just got yourself a slot in the June class and this is all the information, now go take a drug test. And I was like, huh? What? And I had to go take my picture for my badge, and I was just like, wait, what's going on? And I was so confused. I was like, wait, did this just happen? Did I just get this job? And I didn't have a cell phone at the time that had like texting, because you know it was like 2012 and texting cost like things back then, because I still had a flip phone. But so I couldn't call my mom because she was like waiting out in the parking lot, because she came with me. We drove up to Minneapolis from Omaha, and so I finally came out and I was like, Mom, I got the job. And she was like, what? And so we went to the Mall of America and celebrated, and it was awesome. I couldn't believe I got the job. I was super excited. I had to do all this like computer-based training stuff, or CBTs as we call them in the airline biz. I had to do all this like pre-class stuff before I went to training, and I was super confused, and I was like, oh god. And I had to know all the airport codes and the 24-hour clock, and I was like all discombobulated. And so I quit my job as a lifeguard and at Charming Charlie, and I came up to Minneapolis in June. And then I started training, and training was about 4 weeks with Compass, and I met some great people. My class was actually really awesome. We had a really great class. We went through training, and I literally passed training with flying colors. It was pretty easy, as long as you just pay attention and don't mess around and take it serious, because if you fail, I think at Compass, they said if you failed one, you get one retake, and that's it. And I think that was like the same with my current airline too. Some airlines, if you're late to training or if you're late to class, I know there was that flight attendant school show with Frontier when they were like really strict. If you didn't come in right at time from coming back from break, or if you were late from the time of entry, like if class started at 8 and you showed up at 8:05, they cut you. Like, it's that serious. So I started with Compass. And when we were in training at Compass, I lived in a hotel, because they put us up in a hotel if you lived like a certain mileage away from the airport, which I was living in Omaha at the time, so I basically won that bet. I think I was one of the people that was one of the farthest away that came to Compass. So I stayed in a hotel, and pretty much our entire class stayed in a hotel, which was kind of nice because I had a roommate and she was really cool. And then at one point in training, there were bed bugs at the hotel, so that was kind of nasty, but you know, life of the business, I guess. And then we graduated, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I was so scared and so confused, and I had never been gone away from home that long in my life. Like I said, I lived at home until I was 21. And so I had to find a place to live. I didn't know what to do, so I got a crash pad. And I didn't have a car in Minneapolis for about 4 months, and I lived in this crash pad. Crash pad living is for a certain breed of people. And this crash pad, I had a really bad experience. It was just, it wasn't the best. It was actually quite horrible. The girl that owned it, she actually lived there, and so it was for flight attendants and pilots. They had a girls room and a guys room with one shower, like one bathroom, and that bathroom was smaller than my bathroom now, and our bathroom now is pretty small. And the girls never cleaned their hair out of the drain. They never had like maid service come. The people that owned it, so it was a Jack and Jill style house where they had like the girls' bedroom, then there was this closet, and then the boys' bedroom, and then in the hallway was the bathroom. And in that closet, the owners lived in it with cats. I don't know how I even lasted the 3 months that I lasted there, but I did. The girls that I was in the crash pad with, they were like, you know, we really need to get out of here, like it's not that great. They also worked for Compass too. So we were like, okay, well let's get an apartment together. We could get a 2-bedroom, and they were friends, so they said we could split, you know, the bedroom and then you could have your own room. And we never like came up with a plan of me paying more since I was getting my own room. We just said we would split it. Like that was how we came to a conclusion with that. And I was fine with it because I had my own room. So my mom came up, we went to IKEA. The apartment that we lived in, whew, it was pretty sketch. It was really bad. If you're from the Minneapolis area and you know where this place is, then you know. It's right off of West 7th Street, right when you come down past the airport, and it's those apartments, not the really fancy high-rise apartments. It's the ones next to it across from that, it used to be a Rainbow, but now I think there's like a Planet Fitness and an Aldi there. Yeah, right across there, those apartments, nasty, nasty. But they were cheap. They were like $500 a month for a 2-bedroom, so we did it. My name wasn't on the lease or anything. I gave them a couple weeks notice and I said, listen, I'm moving out, like I can't live like this anymore. They were fine with it because then they each got their own room, and it was fine, and it was still cheaper than living at the crash pad. I think the crash pad I was paying like $250 a month, and then there I was paying a little less just because it was like $500 a month. But we got into it, like 3 roommates, it just doesn't work out, and then it just never worked out that like they were living in the same room together, and they just didn't like that. Yeah, there was just a lot of drama there. So I was like, I'm rolling out, peace out, bye. Like that was it. So I only lasted, I think like 2 months at that place with them. And I think we signed like a 6-month lease or something. I don't know, I don't really remember. That was a really long time ago, but it was sketch. The whole situation was sketch. Even with like the people that owned it, like I'm pretty sure it's a front business, or it was at the time. It was just not a good experience. So I moved in with another flight attendant that my friend that I was in training with, he was dating. So we moved in together, and it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. It was a little more, I think it was like $1,000 a month. So we were each paying like $500. It was fine though, like I made do. And then I met Eddie, and then my year got better. So then I heard that this airline was hiring, that I had no idea who they were or what they were all about. I applied. And they were also a Minneapolis-based airline. And so in November, I applied. I got the job right off the bat. They were like, yep, you got it, woohoo. I had to do the drug test and everything all over again, just like I did at Compass. I started with them in December. My current airline, I started in December 2013 and went through training. And training was actually way easier and more laid back than at Compass. It wasn't as intense, I don't think. It was pretty legit, pretty easy. And so I moved out of the place that I was living in with that Compass flight attendant, and then I moved in with one of my classmates that I actually met online. Like, I had no idea who she was. She could have been a murderer, I don't know, but she ended up being fine. And so we lived together, and then she was like, oh, I'm gonna transfer to Miami, so good luck finding a roommate. And I was like, good thing that somebody from our class wanted to move in with me, so they just transferred the lease over into his name, and he moved in with me, and then we lived together for about 3 years. And then I moved into my own place in the summer of 2016, I think. But living with a roommate was really fun, but I love having my own space. Living in that studio in St. Paul was probably the best decision I ever did. I really grew as a person. I really discovered who I was. had to really grow up because I didn't have somebody to help me with bills, you know, like splitting bills and everything like that. Like, if you have the opportunity to live alone once in your life, do it, because it's a great experience. I'll always cherish that. I loved living alone, and my studio was so cute and so fun. I loved decorating it for every holiday, and just in general, it was my own space. It was so fun and cute. And then Eddie was in LA at the time, and my mom was in Omaha still, but then she moved down here in May of 2018, and so I was either in Orlando or LA. I was never in Minneapolis, like never. And so it's like, why am I paying all this money for an apartment that I'm not here for, you know? Like, that's dumb. And not to mention, my mom was no longer a drive away, she was a airplane ride away, which when I needed my mom, or like something happened, like I broke my elbow, she could just drive up, you know, in 5.5 hours, and it was fine. But non-revving on an airplane is a little different when you're not in the airline industry and you don't really know, like, it can be confusing. So I had to make the decision, and I made the decision of moving down to Orlando. And then Eddie got the job at his airline now, because he was at Compass too. Like I said, that's how we met. He started to be based in Memphis, and so we decided that he would move in with me. Not last year, but the year before he moved in. The rest is history. That's kind of my story. I know it's kind of like a more simpler story than you were probably imagining, but like I said, please do not, I know a lot of you always ask me, like, should I do a flight attendant school? I really feel like, you know, that's, you know, you did that, because I've talked about it before. I tell people, I'm like, you don't have to do it. There are so many resources now. There's podcasts, there's YouTube videos, there's like just so many things. There's articles online, there's just all this stuff. Like, the only reason why I did that, like I said, was because I was just a lost little nugget, and I had no idea what I was doing in life. And do I regret it? No. Would I do it again? Probably, if it was back in 2012. But if it was today, probably not. Oh my god, Hunter Lee Haas is 55 minutes away. Yes, we're going out tonight. Like I said, I love where I am now. People ask me all the time, like, if you know who I work for, people ask me all the time, like, well, don't you want to work for Delta or United or American or something like that? Why do you want to be with the airline you're with now? It's like, I love where I am. The seniority is great. I'm pretty much over halfway up the seniority list right now, and it's incredible. I get pretty much my first choices when I do like bids and stuff. And for my schedule, I got my first choice for my vacation for next year. I got my first choice in a line for the month of November. Like, it's just an amazing thing to have great seniority. So I don't know, I really love where I am, and I don't think I could ever see myself being anywhere else. We are small, you know, and we used to be this airline that we did first class service, and we were really, like, not elegant, but we were definitely more upscale than your average, like, low budget airline. And then we got new owners, and they were like, okay, we're ripping out the first class seats, we're taking over, and now we are like a single cabin. So we're like Southwest, where we have one cabin and all the same seats. And honestly, like, I don't mind it, but I do miss doing first class sometimes. Like, I miss having to do cookies, because we used to do, oh, it was so fun, we used to have to heat cookies up if you were first class flight attendant, and we would have like appetizers, and we would have a hot meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner were all hot meals usually. In the back, we used to have cheeseburgers and hot dogs and stuff. I don't know, I sort of miss that sometimes, but then other times I'm like, nope, I'm glad that we do what we do. It's so much easier. And even though COVID happened and we're not doing service right now, people are really understanding, and they get it. They're like, yeah, it's, you know, Corona. Like, you can't just do what we're doing and expect the full-on beverage service. But yeah, I love what I do. I love where I am. I wouldn't change it for anything. I can't see myself anywhere else, but that's basically my story, you guys. I know that a lot of you have been wondering, like I said, you ask me all the time, well, how did you get started in doing flying and what's your story and all this and that. So yes, I started as a regional flight attendant, as a lot of people do actually. If you are aware, if you follow a couple people, I know like Carrie Ann, there's articles online, there's just all this stuff. Like the only reason why I did that, like I said, was because I was just a lost little nugget and I had no idea what I was doing in life. And do I regret it? No. Would I do it again? Probably, if it was back in 2012. But if it was today, probably not. There's articles online. There's just all this stuff. Like, the only reason why I did that, like I said, was because I was just a lost little nugget and I had no idea what I was doing in life. And do I regret it? No. Would I do it again? Probably, if it was back in 2012. But if it was today, probably not. Started as a regional flight attendant, and Kat started as a regional flight attendant. There's just a lot of people out there that, you know, started, and there's no shame in that at all. And then, you know, you just kind of move up on the world and you move up in your airline. And even though I'm not a mainline airline like American United or Delta, we still fly 737, so I feel like I'm at my own mainline airline, you know? In conclusion, you don't need to go to flight attendant school. So many resources. I'm thankful that I did. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I met so many amazing people in the process of doing so. I think that if I didn't go, I would have totally been lost and would have been like, what's going on? Where am I? I don't even think, if I didn't go to that school, I honestly, with the way I learn and everything, I don't think I would have excelled as much as I would have at my first training with Compass. I really think that that school taught me a lot with etiquette and just like how to act in training and everything like that, and to take it really seriously and to really pay attention. I'm really sorry if you hear the lawn mowing guys. That's super annoying. I wouldn't change it for the world, like I said. And I also just wanted to say again that my heart goes out to everyone that was furloughed. It is so devastating, and I don't even know what I would be doing right now if I was in the position that these flight attendants are in. Like, it makes me tear up thinking about it, and it's genuinely so sad because people spend years trying to get this job. It is easier to get into Harvard than into some airlines. So it's really devastating to see flight attendants that did get furloughed, and I really hope that they come back onto the line sooner than we're anticipating. With that being said, I did hear rumors, this isn't confirmed, it's a rumor, that my airline, don't quote me, this did not come from my mouth specifically, but we may be hiring in the spring because we're getting more aircraft and things are happening. I don't know though, but just keep an eye on it. If you know who I work for or whatever, just keep an eye on the website. I don't want to say that to get anyone's hopes up, but I'm just saying that that is the rumor right now, and I just want to put it out there in the universe. So manifesting it that it's gonna happen. Also, I know like airlines may not be hiring, but you always just want to keep a lookout too. And if you want to get into the airline industry, you may want to do something else, like be a gate agent or work on the ramp or something like that, just so you can get your foot in the door. You know, that's always a great way to get into the airline industry too, is just get your foot in the door. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're starting somewhere with it. You know, it's one of those things that you just have to constantly be looking at the websites, and you constantly have to be aware and do your research. I know a lot of you ask me, well, what age do flight attendants get hired at? And with Compass and a lot of regionals, I don't know if they changed their rules now, but with Compass, it was at 18. Do I think that's really early as an age? Yes, I do. I think that that's way too early. I think airlines should hire at 21. Usually pretty much every airline does hire at 21, but there were a lot that were doing 18, and that I think is really young. But there might be still some out there that are at the age of 18. Like I said, you just gotta do your research. You gotta look at, you gotta Google, use your resources and research. I am done with my makeup. All I have to do is my hair, but I am so glad that you guys stuck around and listened to me and my story of how I became a flight attendant. Not really necessarily how, but just my story and where it led me and stuff like that and how we got here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!